In this video, I'm going to be rating every single structure in Minecraft from a scale of 1 to 10 based on how difficult it is to raid and how good loot you can get. I'll be rating everything from a simple village to an ancient city. So with that, only 1% of people are subscribed to my channel, so please subscribe and let's get on with the video. Okay, so starting it off, we have the mine shaft. The mine shaft is a pretty unique underground structure that's comprised of wood and cobwebs. It has some minecarts with chests, and these can spawn with enchanted books and some just food like bread, and they're pretty good. Also, they're pretty big and can go on for a really long time. It's really easy to get lost in them, so that makes them a little bit dangerous. But other than that, they're pretty much just like a perfectly square cave. And as you can see in spectator mode, this one is not too big. It's actually a pretty big one, but yeah, they get really convoluted and it's really easy to get lost in them. Also, they have the only way to get cave spiders in Minecraft through this cave spider spawner. They're like normal spiders, except they're even smaller, and when they bite you or attack you, you get poison. So that's the mine shaft. I'd give it an overall 4 out of 10 for difficulty and a 3 out of 10 for loot. Let's move on to the next one. So this is an ocean ruin. It's a structure that's in the ocean. That's actually pretty simple. So it has a chest that has okay loot, it has buried treasure maps, but that's about it. Sometimes it has like little gold nuggets and wheat. It can also have coal and a fishing rod. It has some glazed terracotta here, and of course there is the suspicious gravel. And of course the suspicious gravel in an ocean ruin is the only way to get a sniffer egg, and of course they spawn a bunch of drowns. So this is a ruined portal. It essentially creates part of a nether portal just somewhere in the world. They can spawn in almost every biome, and they come with some of the materials along with gold and sometimes gold armor to create another portal. Usually they're not completable, but I'll just complete this one to show you that it is roughly the shape. They come with lava, netherrack, magma cubes, and of course a portal frame. So they're pretty cool. Usually they're not completable, though it is sometimes possible if you mine it soon, but you can't do that without a diamond pickaxe. So I give this one a 1 out of 10 for difficulty and a 3 out of 10 for loot, since you can sometimes get gold armor. So this is a shipwreck. It's a shipwrecked ship, obviously. So it has 3 rooms. This one has 3 chests. You can see if you go to the front of the ship, or what was the front of the ship, now it's the front of the shipwreck, you'll find a chest that has some like leather armor, food, mostly wheat, and poisonous potatoes. And the middle of the ship is where you can find the armor trims, some books, occasionally enchanted book, and a buried treasure map. At the front of the ship, this is a treasure room. It has a bunch of good ores that are actually pretty useful usually. You can get a lot of iron and stuff from that. And I'll also show you how to use a treasure map since we're close to this one. So how you do it is you get on top of the X, since everyone knows that X marks the spot. So once you do that, you want to line yourself up perfectly with the X. This is kind of hard since I'm flying. So now I'm close-ish. So now I will fly on top of it and then hit F3. Now that I've hit F3, you can see that in the second chunk on the left, on the second line, you can see there is the things in brackets. You want to say 9 something 9. So now it's at 9 10 10 6 9. I want to make that 9 6 9, and then I want to go straight down. You can see that if I break this block on 9 9, boom, there's the buried treasures. That's a little hack on how to find it. So without further ado, I'll give this one a 3 out of 10 for difficulty since it's underwater, 6 out of 10 for loot, and let's move on to the next structure. Okay, so here's a Minecraft village. Minecraft villages are pretty cool since they have a lot of things like iron golems. You can kill them and they'll drop iron, except iron golems do a lot of damage. Here is a stonecutter house, sleeping houses. Here is a cleric house that has a brewing stand, and that's pretty cool. So this is a savannah village, and they're pretty cool. So let's go over all the other variants of villages since they're actually different, unlike ruined portal. So this is a desert village. It has camels. This is a plains village. It's super recognizable. This is a snowy village. It has igloo houses. And this is a taiga village. I give villages a 6 out of 10 for loot and a 2 out of 10 for difficulty. Let's move on to the next structure. So here we have an ancient city. This is a absolutely huge structure that spawns underground, and it has all this really cool skulk stuff. So let's show you some of the coolest things about it. They have chests everywhere that have pretty good loot. That one just has a singular golden apple always. And there's also one big danger, the warden. So here's the warden. Let's go into survival mode real quick. So you can see while I'm sneaking around, he can't hear me. This mob relies entirely off of hearing. But if I unsneak and move around, now he can hear me. But if I stop moving again, I'm fine. So let's get him to attack me since he does a crazy amount of damage. You can see now he'll do this to me, and they'll start attacking me. I have full protection for netherite armor, and he's doing this much damage. So you may be wondering, why would anyone want to go to these? it's because of the loot. It has pretty crazy loot. You can get hose and enchanted books, and if you get lucky, god apple. So yeah, in this chest you can see that I found 2 god apples. You'll usually get about 4 to like 8 every ancient city, so they're not actually that uncommon, and that's the only reason you really want to go in them, since they have completely overpowered loot. So for this one I give the difficulty an 8 out of 10, since you can crouch to avoid the warden, and a 9 out of 10 for loot. But let's move on to the next. So this is a Bastion Remnant. It also has a bridge on the side, but it's kind of hidden, so it's not really worth it to show you. So it has one of these rooms, which is a super big pit, whereas you can drop down, and then there's a bunch of gold down here, and to win this gold, you can find a chest. The chest has actually pretty darn good loot. It's the only way to get that smithing template, which is super important. It's the only way to get netherite armor. Another really interesting feature of them is gold. So if I get myself some gold armor and stand next to the piglins, without gold armor you see that they're angry at me. But if I give myself some gold armor, and I should probably also do the enchanted golden apple since I'm really low, if I give myself some gold armor, let's say I just put this golden helmet on, you see that they cannot care less. This is a pretty cool feature, and then there's another variant of the Bastion, so let's go find it. It's actually pretty cool. So this is the other variant of the Bastion. It has a bunch of chests in this little area right here, as you can see, and they also have a lot of pretty good loot. It's not quite as good as the other one, but yeah, it's still pretty good. So that's a Bastion. So let's move on to the next structure and see what it is. I will give this one a 6 out of 10 for difficulty and a 7 out of 10 for loot. So this is a desert pyramid. It's found in the desert, duh, and it was actually revamped a little while ago to include the new archaeology stuff from 1.21. I think that was 1.21. Maybe it was 1.20. Whatever. So there's this little sand area, and if you go get a brush, like I will, I have a brush now, you see that you can try sweeping the sand, and then the suspicious sand, it can have stuff like diamonds and TNT and that kind of stuff. You can see there's actually a fair bit of sand here, which is a pretty cool addition in a way they upgraded a structure. And everyone knows that there's 4 chests down here. These can have pretty good loot, like enchanted books, and everyone also knows about this trap. If you stand on that pressure plate, kaboom, you get the big explosion. So what everyone wants to know is, how hard is that to survive? So let's give myself full netherite armor and see if I can. So this is me in full netherite armor. Let's see if we can survive it. I give this one a 6 out of 10 for loot and a 3 or a 4 out of 10 for difficulty, since if you avoid that trap, it's pretty easy. Let's move on. So here it is, the end city. This is a city in the end kind of thing. It's pretty cool, and it actually has pretty crazy loot, so let's explore it. So in each of these large rooms, you'll find 2 chests at the top. That's pretty crazy boots, and also a lot of ores. So yeah, there's gonna be another one right up here in another large room. You see that if I don't go in there, that one looks like a large room, but it doesn't actually have anything. It has to be this room. It'll have a lot of stuff, like Prop 4 mending diamond chestplate. That is crazy. Prop 4 leggings. You get like a full set of Prop 4 armor from like a couple ancient cities, which is crazy. And then of course, there's the famous end ship. This is the only place in the game where you can get the one, the only, the Elytra. It's pretty crazy, and yeah, there's more chests there. So for this one, I give it difficulty of a 7 out of 10, since you have to beat the Ender Dragon, but I give the loot a 10 out of 10 because it's the only way to get the Elytra. Let's move. So this is the Nether Fortress. It spawns in the Nether and is another very, very important aspect of beating the game. You can get blazes from these blaze spawners. They have an approximately 50% chance to drop a blaze rod. So if I kill this one, statistically I will get a blaze rod, and look at that, I did. You have to use these to make Eyes of Ender to get to the Ender Portal to get to the end. So yeah, very, very important. And these things can be absolutely huge. You can see this hallway is huge, and holy cow, this is big. Now this is actually probably an average size one, so these structures are very, very large. That's the only way to get nether wart, and the occasional chest does have some pretty decent loot. So yeah, overall, I would give the Nether Fortress a 7 out of 10 for difficulty, since these wither skeletons can hit you. And when they hit you, they give you this effect called withering. It's kind of like poison, but instead of leaving you at a half a heart like poison does, when you get withering, it will and can kill you. So yeah, I give these a 7 out of 10 for difficulty and a 8 for loot, because blaze rods are just so important. But with that, let's move on to the next structure. Okay, so this is a small igloo. Igloos are pretty small, and you've probably seen all your YouTubers saying, oh my gosh, guys, check out the igloo basement. They're so cool. And you go into an igloo and you're like, what the heck? Where's the basement? Are they fake? No, igloo basements are not actually fake. It's just that there's not a 100% chance that they spawn inside the structure. And I think that's actually really interesting, since the way YouTubers make it looks like there's actually a 100% chance. So let's spawn in igloos until we can find one that does have a basement. So let's go over here and do /place igloo. Here's another fun fact. You can do /place structure, any structure, igloo. There we go, igloo. I just placed an igloo, so now let's go in there, break this carpet. Oh, we got literally no basement. Let's place another igloo. So let's just go over here, do it again, and while I'm going to raid this one, I would like to say only 1% of people are actually subscribed to my channel, so it'd help me out a lot if you subscribe. This one didn't have a basement either. So let's try it a third time. Let's go, number 4, 4th time's the charm. Let's go, igloo. Let's find an igloo. Let's go over here. /place igloo. /place structure igloo, whatever. Let's go in, and boom, we do get a basement in this one. It's a trapdoor under that carpet, so you have to get to go down this really long ladder. Yeah, it's excessively long, and once you get to the bottom, you're gonna find a brewing stand with a weakness potion and a chest that will always have a golden apple. You can use these to throw the weakness potion at the villager and then feed it the golden apple, curing it. It also demonstrates how to do this. I did a short on it recently. Check it out. It was pretty cool. So yeah, let's move on to the next structure. So here is the jungle temple. On the 3rd floor, there's absolutely nothing. On the 2nd floor, it looks like there's nothing, but there is. So you go downstairs, flick the outermost lever, innermost lever, outermost lever. Then you go back up, and voila, you've unlocked a chest that sometimes has decent loot. This time it didn't. Then you go over to the other area, and you see that there's actually a trap. This is the only structure in Minecraft that has sophisticated redstone traps, other than the ancient city. They added that. The ancient city actually has some stuff that involves skulk sensors, which is pretty cool. It shows you how to use them, kind of. It's under the main thing. Did I show you that? No, you're gonna go have to find that out yourself. No, I didn't forget to do it, and I'm now just thinking of it. So yeah, that is the jungle pyramid. It's the only structure in Minecraft other than the ancient city with actual redstone in it. Let's move on. So this is a Woodland Mansion. These are huge structures that spawn in dark oak forests. So let's go in and explore it. We can't explore the entire thing since that would literally take like half an hour. So here's like a bedroom type room, and as you can see, there's like a closet type thing, a bed type thing, and then up here there's a chest, and these chests usually actually have pretty decent loot. As you see, we got an armor trim, some chainmail armor, and then there's of course just normal hostile mobs, another bedroom, and then there's these. These are called Vindicators. These have axes, as you can see, and if I kill one with a netherite sword, since that's the best sword in the game, you can see that it will drop emerald. And then here's an evoker. These drop totems of undying, one of the most powerful and overpowered items in the game. This is actually why Mojang changed the way raids work, because they were too overpowered since they give you a bunch of these. So you can see that a totem essentially prevents you from dying right there. I would have died both times, but the totem, essentially when you're about to die, it pops and then you get like regen, fire resistance, and all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, totems are pretty cool, but that's the Woodland Mansion. Let's move on to the next one. So this is an ocean monument, and as you can probably guess, it's in an ocean. It has guardians, and then they can prick you and shoot you with these laser beam type things. I'm not really sure what they're supposed to be. I assume they're lasers, since what else would they be? So it has these large mazes of hallways and corridors and vertical hallways because, you know, it's underwater. And then you find Elder Guardians. Elder Guardians, these are the things that give you mining fatigue, and then there's a bunch of rooms that go all around the place. So they're actually pretty big. So you have a bunch of rooms, as you can see, and they're all filled with water. I mean, literally, they're all filled with water. You can find prismarine, dark prismarine, sea lanterns, and of course, there's a bunch of other stuff. You can find sponges here, and this is the Elder Guardian room. There's always an Elder Guardian in there. And then there's some dark prismarine. This is the only place where you can find it placed down naturally in the world. You can also craft it because Guardians and Elder Guardians can drop prismarine shards, which you can use to craft into prismarine blocks. Now if you look over here, we have the treasure room, and it's this large thing of dark prismarine and has 8 gold blocks inside of it. You can see there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. and that's pretty cool. Now along the edges you can sometimes find sponge rooms. These rooms will contain sponges, which are pretty useful, so that's pretty cool. They're usually located around the edges like where I'm going right now, and just be warned, not all monuments have them. I don't think this one does. Yeah, I don't see any sponge rooms. So this monument doesn't actually have any sponges. So yeah, it's not a guarantee that the monument will have sponges. But yeah, that's ocean monuments. I'd say I give them a 5 out of 10 for difficulty because of the mining fatigue, and a 2 out of 10 for loot since all you really get is sponges. Now let's move on. So this is a Pillager Outpost. They're, again, structures that you can just find scattered throughout the world, and they have pillagers and a bunch of other stuff. But let's start with the most obvious and main structure itself. It has this top area that has a chest that can have some pretty decent loot in it, and then a bunch of levels. All the other levels except for the top one are actually completely empty, which I find kind of weird. So yeah, you have these like target things made out of pumpkins and hay bales, some like tents, then you have cages. Some of them can be empty, some of them that have bars on the top, those will have allays, and some of them that don't have the little fences on top, those can have iron golems. And now you see that I found a pillager captain. So you kill one of these and they'll give you a bottle of bad omen. These will give you bad omen, which will let you start raids. So those are the pillager outposts. I give them a 3 out of 10 for loot and difficulty since they're just mid, but they're important for starting raids, which get you totems. So yeah, they're pretty good. Now let's move on to the next structure. So here we have the Stronghold. How you find these is you take Eye of Enders, which you can make by combining blaze powder and ender pearls, and once they go down, you just dig straight down. And while I'm digging straight down, I would like to remind you, thank you guys for watching so far into the video. You've made it 16 minutes. That really helps me out in getting monetized. So yeah, thanks for watching this far into the video. And once you start getting into deep slate, you'll dig down for a little bit. It'll be like 30 blocks below deep slate, and you'll find the Stronghold. They'll look like this. So yeah, if you hit bedrock, you've gone too far. They're in deep slate. And there are these large labyrinths that have buttons on the iron doors, and there's also wooden doors. They have stuff like libraries. These can have enchanted books, armor trims, and compasses. So yeah, they're also pretty cool. Then once you finish exploring libraries, those usually have 2 floors, but this one is actually only a 1-floor library. I think that's actually kind of rare. You'll eventually find yourself in the portal. This will actually take a while, but while you're getting there, you'll probably find these chests, which can have some stuff in it. Some of these sell-like things, some more chests. This loot's okay, it's not great. It's not very good if you're this late in the game. And yeah, you'll just find more stuff. You'll find a lot of dead ends. It's really easy to get lost. But something that all strongholds have is right there. It is the end portal. It is a way to get to the end, and it'll have that iconic silverfish spawner, the iconic shape and all that. So yeah, it's really cool. So I would have to give strongholds a good 3 or 4 out of 10 for loot. Some of them can be destroyed by cave generation, as you can see, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I give it a 4 out of 10 for loot because it's the only way to get to the end, and a 2 out of 10 for difficulty since you can get lost. But yeah, those are strongholds. Let's move on to the next structure. So this is a swamp hut. They're pretty simple, as you can see. They're located in swamps, hence the name. And they come with a witch, a little hut, a black cat, crafting table, cauldron, and a little potted mushroom. But that's about it that they have. They don't really have much. I give them a 1 out of 10 for difficulty because of the witch, and a 0 out of 10 for loot since there's nothing you can really get out of them. Now let's move on. So here we have a pretty forgotten structure. It's called a trail ruin. It was added in the archaeology update like 1.20 or something like that. I don't really remember. But they have suspicious gravel, and it's pretty cool. You can dig them out, and yeah, essentially they're pretty hard to find. They're found in forest biomes. You get a lot of junk from the suspicious gravel. Like there I was going to get a pane of glass. You decide got some blue dye. Yeah, and they have a lot of glazed terracotta, mud bricks, and a lot of dirt and clay and that kind of thing. You can also find bricks in them, which I find pretty darn cool. But yeah, other than that, other than the music disc relic, there's not really much that's useful that you can get out of them. They can actually be pretty big, as you can see from this one. You can see the little air pockets from it, and that's where it extends to. So yeah, they can be pretty big, but they're not very helpful, and I can see why they've kind of been forgotten. The only thing they're really good for is getting the music disc relic, which I do agree is cool, but once you've gotten one, you don't really need to go in anymore. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, so here we have the Trial Chamber. These are really cool structures that were added really recently in 1.21, and they're made out of the new copper blocks and a lot of the new tough blocks. So let's just run through how it works. So first, you're gonna want a lot of gear, but I'll just do it all in creative. So you're gonna want to trigger it, then you gotta kill all the mobs in the trial. Once you've done that, you can get a bunch of different prizes. And here's what a trial key is. That's one of the possible prizes. You can get stuff like Bad Omen, emeralds, and iron, and diamonds, and that kind of thing. The next thing you can do is use an ominous key. You get those from doing ominous trials, which you can do by using Bad Omen and then going up to a trial crate thingamajigger. And these can give you much better loot like armor trims, emerald blocks, emeralds, diamonds, and the heavy core. Those are super special. So let's demonstrate how a ominous trial works. So if I just drink this ominous bottle, go into survival real quick, you can see that it will spawn in the mobs just with pretty good gear. That one has diamond helmet. That one doesn't have anything. But if I turn around, you see that one has half diamond armor. That is crazy. And that one has a diamond chestplate, some chain armor. I actually got a half diamond zombie with an iron sword one time when I did it. And yeah, you can get these ominous trial keys. So yeah, those are pretty cool. As you can see, trial chambers are huge structures. There's a lot of different rooms, like this vertical one. There's another one of these. Let's open up another ominous vault to see if we can get the heavy core. Heavy cores are very rare to get. It's actually really hard to get them. You can see that we get freeze balls and that kind of thing. But yeah, so here's how you tell. So if you hold a crate key next to it, you'll see that lights up orange. That means it's a normal crate key. Now, if it doesn't light up orange or it's more intricate, that means it is a trial crate key. So yeah, that's how to tell. If you see the little orange eyes, it's a normal one, and also the ominous ones look different, as you saw there. So yeah, those are just about it, and yeah, I want to show you the mace too. The mace is the super overpowered thing, so let's just spawn in another trial or whatever they're called. There we go. So this time I think it'll spawn skeletons, judging off the moss. No, not moss, whatever that is. You see, it blocks everything and knocks them back, and you take a lot of damage to whatever you're hitting when you drop. Now, there's also this enchantment called Wind Charge. It's actually super cool. No, it's actually called Wind Burst. Never mind. And I'll demonstrate what it does. I missed time, bruh. So yeah, it launches you up when you hit something. So now I'm going to try and show you how you can chain hit it. So in theory, when you launch yourself up, you can fall back down and chain hit. But thank you guys for watching all the way through the video. It really helps me out a lot with trying to get monetized. But yeah, here's a chain hit. Remember, only 1% of people are actually subscribed to my channel. So please subscribe as it helps me out a lot. And I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.